In this video we're gonna set the attack function. Okay, if we attack, as you can see, the square get destroyed. We're gonna set this. So without further delay, let's dive into this topic. So head over to player game object. Okay, we're gonna create an empty child game object. So right click on player and create an empty child game object and name it attack point, something like that. Okay, attack point. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna select an Gizmos. I'm gonna select the yellow one. Okay, see, yellow one, and I'm gonna move it over here, something like that, to match up. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a circle around this attack point. Okay, we're gonna create a circle around this attack point. So what we need to do, we need to create an attack. Okay, we need to create an attack script. So what you need to do, just go over to assets. Okay, right click, create C# script, name that script to player attack, something like that, and double click it to open up. I already have made the player attack script, so I'm gonna go over to. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create another function and we're gonna make it public. We're gonna call that from attack animation. As you can see, we're gonna call it from over here. We have to just add event. Okay, and we're gonna call that hit. Okay, that function, attack function. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna call it something like public. Okay, we're gonna make it public to call that function through animation. And we're gonna make we have to type void and we have to name the function. We're gonna call something like attack and first bracket and this curly brackets. So what we're gonna do, we have to use this function. Okay, physics2d dot overlap circle. Okay, overlap circle. So this function over here, okay, this function takes the position from where you want to create the circle, and the second thing, it will take the radius of that circle, and the third thing, it will take the layer mask, means which layer you want to target. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna firstly comment out, we're gonna assign those variables. Firstly, the position, we need this attack point position, so we will create an empty field of attack point position. So what we need to do, we need to go over to top. We're gonna make it public so we can see in inspector the type of that component is transform, basically position, and we're gonna call it something like attack point. Okay, attack point, and end up with semicolon. And we also need a layer mask. Okay, we also need a layer mask basically which layer we want to target. Okay, we're gonna set to enemy layer, something like that. So we're gonna make it to set it in inspector. Okay, so we will the type of layer mask, and you can call enemy layer something like that. I'm gonna leave it as a layer mask. Okay, and we also need to specify the radius. Okay, the radius of that circle. Okay, so we're gonna create a float variable and we're gonna make it public so we can adjust the radius in the inspector. And the type of that variable is float, and we're gonna call something like attack radius. Okay, attack radius, and by default I am going to set like 1.2 unit or 2f. Okay, control s on your keyboard and head again to unity. You will able to see those field over here. The first parameter is the position, which is attack point. So what we need to do, we need to drag this attack point to that field. Okay, so we will have the attack point, and also we need to assign layer mask to enemy layer. Okay, enemy layer or something like that, which layer we want to actually target. And the third thing, we will see the attack radius, as you can see. So it will be selected by nothing. Okay, layer mask. And as you can see, attack point which is none, basically empty. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna drag this attack point to that field. Now we have the attack position and we need to assign the layer mask, so which layer you want to target. So I'm gonna make a test object. Okay, so I'm gonna right click on this hierarchy, go to 2D object sprite. I'm going to select this square. And what in the inspector you can see in the right a layer which is set as default. So what we have to do, we're gonna assign this layer as a enemy layer. So click on that and add layer and name that to enemy and save it, and head again to that game object once again and assign that layer, whatever you name it, assign that to that. So I am gonna assign it to enemy layer. So what we have to do, if we go back to player script, as you can see, layer marks which set nothing. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna choose the enemy layer. We only gonna target the enemy layer, but we also have to add a box collider to the two game object, okay, else we not gonna collide the circle, or not gonna collide with this, or not gonna hit with this or something like that. So we need to detect the collision, okay. So what we have to do, select that game object and add box collider 2D or any collider 2D like that. So we have added box collider 2D, okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to script once again. So over here, as you can see, we have to use physics 2d dot overlap circle. So this function will take the position from where you want to uh, create the circle. So we're gonna pass the attack point as a position, and we're gonna pass and second parameter, as you can see, it will take the radius. So we're gonna pass the attack radius, and the third argument, it will take the layer, which layer you want to target. So we're gonna pass the layer mask, and as a layer mask we chosen the enemy layer, so we will only target that enemy layer, okay. So this function over here, okay, this function over here will be true or false if the circle is colliding with that enemy layer, okay. If that enemy layer, so this function will be true, uh, or else if the circle is not colliding with enemy layer, this function over here will be false. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put it into a variable, this function, okay. We're gonna put it into a collider variable. So what we have to do, sorry, so we have to type collider, okay, collider 2D. I'm going to call it something like hit info or hit, something like that, okay, something like that. Now we can, sorry, now we can extract info what we hit. Firstly, this function over here will be true or false if the circle is colliding with enemy layer, this function will be true. So the over here hit will be true because we are directly setting it equal to this, okay. And if the circle is not colliding with enemy layer, so the hit over here will be false. And now we can extract what we hit, okay, what we hit. So if hit is true, means the circle is colliding with enemy layer. Now we can extract info what we collided with. We can extract info like transform of that component, name of that component or game object. Basically we can extract info, okay, name, tag, collider, okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna print out the mass, what we hit, we're gonna print out that what we hit. So we have to type this debug.log, and we have to pass, okay. Firstly we're gonna go to hit what we hit, and we're gonna go to that game object transform, and we're gonna print out the name, okay. So firstly what we are doing, this function over here will be true or false if the circle is colliding with enemy layer. So this will be here, hit will be true if hit is true. So what we are doing, for whatever we hit colliding with, we just going to that game object transform, and then we are just printing out the name, as you can see, debug.log dot name, as you can see. We also need to call this function, okay, we are not calling from anywhere here. So we also need to call this function, and we're gonna call this function through our animation event, okay. So control s on your keyboard and head again to unity, you will able to see that we're gonna call that function through our animation, okay, attack animation. So just wait for to compile, and you will able to see, just wait for to compile, and it will take few seconds. So as you can see, we can able to see the circle, okay, we're not able to see the circle. So what we have to do, we have to use on draw gizmo selected function, okay, we have to use that. So what we need to do, we need to go back to script, and we're gonna type over here on draw gizmo selected. Basically you have to type the same name, okay. So this function over here will draw that circle. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna draw that circle. So we have to use gizmos dot draw where sphere, okay. And this function will take the position from where you want to draw the circle, and the second parameter, it will take the radius of that circle you want to draw. So firstly we're gonna pass the attack point as a we want to draw the circle from attack point, around attack point, and we're gonna pass the attack radius as well. Okay, we're gonna pass the attack radius as well, but this will throw an error, because if you haven't assigned the attack point position, means if you haven't dragged the attack point position to attack point slot, okay, attack point slot, you attack point slot, but this function, as you can see, it will still try to find this attack point, it will try to draw. So if he can find the, if this function can find the attack point position, means if you haven't dragged that attack point position, or if you haven't assigned that, so this function will throw an error. Okay, so what we need to do, before that we need to check if we assign it or not. So we're gonna check if attack point is equals to null. Basically, if we haven't assigned it, means this attack point is selected by like this none, okay, empty, as you can see. If we haven't assigned it, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna return. Okay, if attack point is equals to none, null, so we're gonna return. Basically, return means after this return, this line won't get called. Okay, so we will avoid the error message, as you can see. So we what we are doing, just returning from that. Okay, we're not calling this line if attack point is null, basically if we haven't assigned that. Okay, and control as on your keyboard and head again to unity. So we're gonna assign this to our attack point. We need to drag the attack point to that uh, game object, sorry, that position non transform, as you can see. We need to drag that into that. Okay, and we will able to see the circle. Okay, when we gonna drag that, before that we won't able to see the circle, because we haven't assigned the attack point. As you know, it will try to find this attack point position. Okay, it will try to find, but as we know, we haven't assigned the attack point, so it won't draw. So the line over here won't get called if we haven't assigned that. If the attack point is equals to null, means is empty. Okay, so we are not calling this line, so that's why the circle is not drawing. So if we drag this attack point, now we have assigned it, now we can see the circle, as you can see. Okay, so we're gonna adjust the radius. Okay, we're gonna adjust the radius. So if we go to attack 1, something like this, so we need to make the circle radius little bit bigger. So as that's why we set this attack radius to public. Okay, we can adjust in inspector, but we also need to call this function over here, as you can see. Okay, we need to call the attack function whenever we play the attack animation. So what we're gonna do over here, so find the attack animation, and over here we're gonna add an event. So you have to click on this. Okay, add an event, and what we need to do, we need to go to player attack script methods and then attack function, as you can see. Because we made that public, so that's why we are able to see the attack function. So I'm gonna select that, and we also need to select those animation, those attack animation from, I guess here I'm gonna call that function. So add the event, and we're gonna go to player attack script, then we are going to function. Basically methods means function, then we're gonna call this attack function. Okay, and also we're gonna select for attack 3 over here, something like over here we're gonna add an event. Okay, and we're gonna go to player attack script, then function, basically methods, basically function. Okay, and we're gonna go to attack, we are calling that function. And what that function will do, firstly it's gonna check if the circle is colliding with the enemy layer, is enemy layer or not. Okay, if the circle is colliding enemy layer, so this will be true, so the hit over here will be true. And if hit is true, okay, if hit is true, as you can see, so what we are doing, we just printing out the name whatever we hit with by going to this hit parameter. Okay, hit, then we are going to that game object transform component, and we are by transform component we are able to access the name, as you can see, dot name, which is printing out the name whatever we hit. Okay, control s on your keyboard when you done. Okay, and if we play, okay, if we play the game, as you can see, we assigned this square as a enemy layer, as you can see in the inspector over here, you can see layer selected by enemy, and we just only targeting enemy layer. As you can see as a layer mark, so we pass the enemy layer, so we will able to see the name of this square game object. Okay, as you can see the name of this game object is square 1, so we will able to see this name game object in the console. So select the console and hit play. Okay, whenever we just clicking the left mouse button, we playing the animations. Okay, attack animation. From that attack animation we calling that attack function, and attack function will just print out in the console the name of the game object whatever we collided with. As you can see square 1, if I hit twice, as you can see square 1 getting printing out in the console. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna destroy this game object. Okay, we're gonna destroy this game object. So what we need to do, so we're gonna use destroy function. Okay, we have to use destroy function, and destroy function will take the game object you want to destroy. So what we want to destroy, we want to destroy the whatever we collided, the circle whatever collided with. So what we have to do, we're gonna go to hit, and then we're gonna access the whole game object, and we're gonna destroy this. As you can see, firstly going to hit info. Okay, hit. Okay, and then we are just destroying the game object whatever we hit with. Destroy function takes the game object you want to destroy. Okay, so control S on your keyboard and head again to unity. So when we attack the this square 1 or something, so we will destroy this game object within a second. Okay, we can specify as a second parameter time, but we are instantly destroying. Okay, this hit dot game object, as you saw in the script, we can specify the time as well. So if we hit play, and if we click the left mouse button, we will play the attack animation, and from attack animation we are calling that attack function. And attack function, as you can see, it's get destroyed whatever. So over here as you can see, okay, attack function doing this thing. Okay, I hope you get the idea. Okay, so if you are new to my channel, then subscribe it for future tutorials. Okay, and if you enjoyed this video, then give a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Okay, and if you want to support me, you can support me on patreon.com. And lastly, thanks for watching this video. Okay.